When I'm scaling a business from 6 figures to 7 figures, there's three key things that I look at to really maximize the profit of that business and ensure that there's going to be a consistent lead flow to allow that business to actually scale. The first thing that I'm looking at for any business is what type of lead flow and what type of traffic you have on your social media, on any type of marketing channel to actually go to your website or application or whatever it is that you're using to facilitate your sales process. So I want to see how many hits you're getting on your Instagram every single month, how many views are you getting on your TikToks on average, what's the average watch time of those videos, how engaged are people with those videos, are you using Pinterest or a different search engine to drive traffic, how is that traffic being converted onto your other platforms, what does that look like? So I really want to see analytics and numbers to see what's happening there, and really then we can start to assess the gaps in your content and in your marketing strategy that's causing you to potentially not have the amount of lead flow and the amount of traffic on your social media that you actually want to have. Most people struggle a lot with outreach and visibility, so they have a really hard time of creating content that's going to reach a lot of people. The reason for that, specifically with TikTok, which is one of the main outreach platforms that you have available to you right now, is because people really struggle to create content that's engaging and interesting enough for people to actually watch the entire thing. So if you have a minute-long video, but you only have people watching the first 3 to 5 seconds of it, that video is going to get maybe 200 views and not be pushed out to more people in the algorithm. So when you have things like that happening on a consistent basis with your content, you're going to really struggle to have a consistent lead flow into your business because you're just not being seen by enough people. That is the number one problem that people have in scaling from 6 to 7 figures, is just having enough leads and enough traffic consistently and knowing how to replicate that traffic that they get so that they aren't guessing about their revenue, their lead flow, and what that's actually going to look like within their business. So there's a couple different ways that you can maximize that visibility so that it is consistent, and it goes all the way back to tracking those analytics and knowing what's actually happening. You can see in your analytics exactly where people are dropping off in your videos. You can see exactly what posts on Instagram weren't very engaging because they're not getting pushed out to very many people. So as you understand how those different algorithms work and how they actually push you out to more and more people, you can then reverse engineer your content to see what's actually going to perform and to get your content to perform better. You actually do have complete control over the performance of your content when you understand the algorithms. You can create content and, like I said, reverse engineer it so that it works within the algorithm rather than trying to hack the algorithm or work against it, as so many gurus try to promote. So when you have consistent visibility and you see consistently what that formula is of content, what type of content you need to post, and how much of it to reach the sales targets that you have within your business, it makes it very, very easy to then be able to scale and look at other things within your business, invest in other things within your business, because you know that you're going to have a certain amount of traffic and that you're able to convert that amount of traffic, which leads me to point number 2. The second biggest problem people have is then actually being able to convert the traffic and the lead flow that they have. So many business owners in that 6-figure range have a very janky sales process where they're not following up with all of their leads, they're losing people, they don't have a follow-up process for getting ghosted or people that no-show their calls, they don't have sales skills and closing abilities, so when they get on a call, they're just taking the very first objection and sending people on their way. They don't know how to close or sell in the DMs on Instagram via voice message or things like that. So even if they're able to get the traffic, they're not actually converting it into sales, because when it comes to having that sales conversation, they don't know where to go. So learning how to overcome objections is 100% the most important thing you can learn to facilitate a successful sales process. And number 2, learning how to really tap into your ideal client's current reality so that when they're talking to you, you're able to really get down to the nitty-gritty of what's coming up for them, what's causing their problems, what are they experiencing in their day-to-day life that would ultimately get them to reach out to you. Why did they come to you? What do they need? Because if you're having a lot of objections, really all that means is that they don't yet see the value in what it is that you're providing, because you haven't gotten deep enough into their problems, into what they're experiencing for them to go, yep, you're exactly right, that's what I need, and to actually make that purchase decision. Which leads me to the final point, which is how do you actually get people from your content into that sales conversation and into that sales process so that you are actually able to have the opportunity to convert them, right? So this is that activation phase that so many people struggle with. So once you have the visibility and you know that you can close sales, you have to be able to consistently take people from discovery to actually signing up to work with you or actually inquiring to work with you. Now, there's really two key things that are going to get people to actually do that. Number one is they need to feel seen and heard by you. So when they see your videos, they should have an aha moment where they go, oh my gosh, that's me. That's what I'm dealing with. That's what I need to do, right? She's talking to me. That's what you're trying to facilitate for them. So number one, feeling seen and heard. And then number two is you're actually illuminating the knowledge gap that they have to be able to showcase what it is that you're able to do for them. So many business owners, they get really caught up in trying to sell their actual offer. How many calls they get, what's included in that workbook, what are the modules that they're selling in their stupid course. None of that is relevant at all. Literally nobody cares. All people care about is the outcome. That's what you're actually selling. So when you learn to sell to the outcome and speak to that outcome in your content, that's what's going to activate people. So they feel seen by you. They go, oh my gosh, that's me. I do that. And then you bridge that gap. You showcase what that gap is that they're missing and how you can solve that problem for them, how you can bridge that gap for them. And so when you have those two things, that's that lethal combination that gets them to go from watching your content and binging your content to actually deciding, hey, I'm going to inquire to work with this person, which then brings you all the way back to the second point, which is actually being able to convert them once they're in your sales process. So within those three things, those are the biggest problems that people struggle with, because ultimately you can have the best program in the world, you can have the greatest systems and the smoothest onboarding and the best offboarding and re-sign and retention and all of that, but it's all completely irrelevant if nobody knows who you are and you're not able to sign people up to do whatever it is that you're offering. If this video was valuable to you at all, be sure to subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and comment any questions that you might have down below. I'm always very excited to see what questions you guys have for me. And if you want to see these strategies in action and see how I actually implement this in my own business, be sure to hop over to my Instagram, which is kenda.laney, or you can find me on TikTok, the Social Media Millionaire, or my personal account as well. We also have a podcast if you want more in-depth information into how we implement these strategies in our business, which is also the Social Media Millionaire podcast, which you can find on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next video.